Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 110. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I want to thank you for sharing your time with me. Time truly is our most valuable asset. And the fact that you're willing to share your time with me truly does mean a great deal. So I really do appreciate you being here and participating. Today, I want to talk about something that I am discovering myself the need to pay attention to, and that's rediscovering fun and preventing burnout. So what I know about myself is that when it comes to work, I am very serious. And I have been reflecting on that a bit lately because of my drive and the different projects that I have going on, that I've noticed that fun's lacking a little bit. And yet for me, when it comes to work, it's not about fun. It's about performing. It's about getting things done. It's about being effective. It's about all of these things. And I thought about it, and it really comes from, and this is no disrespect to them, from my parents, which I loved dearly. And my dad was an entrepreneur. He was a co-owner in a small chain of drugstores. My mom was a nurse when she wasn't practicing nursing when we were born, myself and my siblings. She helped my dad out at the pharmacy. So we were always taught. I remember walking in to visit my dad, and it was almost like you're walking to church. It was serious. You were respectful. You behaved. You certainly didn't act up. And as we started to grow, they would give us little jobs to do in the store in exchange for a toy in the toy aisle, or maybe, a small allowance or amount of money. But we were taught it was very serious, that you did your job, you did it to the best that you could. I didn't know at the time that this was what it was, but you over-delivered. If you were to go rearrange or clean an aisle, that you just went above and beyond. You didn't do surface level work. And I'm grateful for that. I truly am, because it taught me strong work ethic. It taught me really how to perform at a high level, to meet commitments, to exceed client needs. It did take a little bit of the fun out of work. I don't really ever remember a time other really watching my parents have fun when it came to work. I remember watching my dad engage with customers and his patients, and he would light up to do that, but it wasn't like a huge source of fun. And so that has spilled over into my world. And like I said, I'm grateful for it because it taught me really how to be successful. And it also is a little too far over on one end of the spectrum than the other. So I want to see if maybe that's you. For a lot of us right now, depending on what industry you're in, we've experienced some changes in economics, some changes in leadership, some things that are having us work differently or more strategically, or engaging at a different level than we have before, and becoming more intense about it. And I think in those moments, we may have drifted away from fun. So I want to reintroduce that to you today. I'm reintroducing it to myself in the workspace. And I just want to reintroduce it to you, that make sure that you're experiencing fun in what you're doing, or you're at risk for burnout, and you're really at risk for not achieving your goals. Which seems counterintuitive, right? If I'm serious and intense about work, I should get to my goals. The reality is, without a mix of some fun and levity, your goals are at risk. So number one, there's warning signs about when the fun stops. Work feels heavy, like an obligation instead of an opportunity. You might hear yourself say, I have to go call this client. Well, you don't have to, you get to. Yet we're looking at things as an obligation versus an opportunity. Just little things. Maybe you feel like you always have to be on, and you can't be joyful because you've got to let your clients see how serious you are and how dedicated you are. And again, shifting from opportunity to obligation. Achievements don't feel exciting anymore. it feels like just something you can check off the list and we're on to the next thing. Those are some signs that we might not be having fun anymore. And there is a balance. I'm not saying it's all fun, no intensity, or all intensity, no fun. There's a balance that I want us to think about, because burnout doesn't start with exhaustion. It starts when joy disappears. That's really important. Burnout isn't because of exhaustion. Yes, that may be a contributing factor, but it really starts when you start to feel burnt out, is when joy is absent from or disappears from your work environment. So number 2, why fun matters in productivity. Well, fun isn't fluff, right? It's fuel for creativity and resilience. Yeah, I find myself having to laugh at some of the things that I've done, some of the things that I do, expecting a certain result, but not getting it. And instead of getting angry or mad, I laugh it off and I build resilience, right? I just have to look at it differently versus failure. There's a place in the neurosciences that says play and joy release dopamine and serotonin. So I want you to think about that. Play and joy. I think those two things go hand in hand. They should. Play and joy release dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good hormones, right? And that allows you to have more focus, better problem-solving skills, and higher level of energy. So fun actually multiplies productivity. It re-energizes your mind and your body. I know when I am intentional about it, I'm sharing this because of late, I've been pretty intense on several projects and time seems to be very condensed for me and not a lot of spare time. Yet I know when I have fun, I leave that situation, whether it was a meeting with a coworker. Right now, in working with my marketing person, we're having a blast. When I leave those meetings, I am more energized and my mind and body feel like they're in a better place. So fun isn't fluff. It's really fuel for you to get creative and to build resilience. You just have to laugh at yourself sometimes. Number 3, it's important that we identify our fun triggers. All right. So what activities light you up? Is it when you teach? Is it doing a podcast? Is it presenting in front of a group of people? Is it brainstorming? Is it when a client wins? Is it getting creative with a new project or seeing a need in the market and creating a product for it? What activities light you up? Really important to know that. For me, anytime I get to be in front of people and share information and help them on their journey forward, it's lighting me up. I love it. And all of the work that it takes to get there is actually exciting, not burnout. It's exciting. I enjoy it because I can see and sense what it's going to be when I have the privilege of presenting. Who are the people that energize you versus drain you? So I'm working with a great person, Suzanne. She happens to be a good friend of mine, and she's a brand strategy person, and she's working with me on a project for marketing and meetings and sales. And I can tell you when I'm around her and I leave a meeting with her, I am completely energized, not drained. Now, she'll kick my butt, and there are times that I leave the meeting going, holy cow, I just agreed to a whole bunch of stuff. Yet I leave with a different energy than I went into it with. So who are those people that give you energy versus drain you? And what's the last time that you felt genuinely excited at work? I want you to think about that. Just reflect, because I'm asking you what lights you up. And you may have forgotten what it is because you've been so intense. This is a time of year. We're ending Q3. Tomorrow starts Q4. And we are really in an intense phase. And you may not have paused long enough to remember what genuinely excites you at work. Not everything is exciting. I heard a coach say this one time and I loved it, even though it wasn't real uplifting. But sometimes we have to embrace the repetitious boredom of a task that we must do to move towards our goal. That's just part of it. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows and exciting. However, there are things that you do that still excite you, and we need to reflect and identify what those are, because we want to make sure that we're allowing ourselves to feel that excitement or that energy and enjoy that moment. I think a lot of this is just getting you to pause for a moment and be grateful for the opportunities that are in front of you. And identifying those fun triggers is one way to do it. So just track where your energy goes up and where your energy goes down. What it reveals about you is where you can put your attention. Or if you're just having a day where you're not feeling real motivated, or you need a boost of energy or fun, you know the activity that you can go do. Do it. Just lean into it. Even if you take a break from your schedule for 30 minutes and go do that activity, when you go back to the other activities that might be in that category of repetitious boredom, you'll come back to it with a different energy and a different light about you. Number 4, you've got to infuse fun into your routine. For a lot of us, it doesn't just happen spontaneously. It should, but if we've drifted from it for a long time, we may have to become intentional about infusing it back in. So making it a part of our day. So add variety, change your workspace, mix up your schedule. For me, when I need to experience energy and a different environment, I have 2 coffee shops in Santa Fe that I will go hang out at. And I don't just hang out, I work. But the change in environment and the people I get to meet and the people I get to see, and I know the baristas, they know me, they know my drink, then it's just easy. But that little variety, usually a Monday or Friday or a Saturday work day is when I can do that, changes everything. The other thing that I do, and I'd highly recommend if you love music, I have several different playlists. So I have a playlist when I really need to concentrate. I don't concentrate well in silence. I know that may be counterintuitive to a lot of you. However, for me, music can set the tone. It can set the mood. So I've got music when I need to be creative. It's more uplifting. It's more top music right now. I've got music without words when I do need to concentrate and I'm working on a project that requires a little bit more intense energy, but it makes it fun. It makes it, music to me is one of the best gifts in life. For some, it's not. So music could be one thing that you do to infuse fun back into your routine. The other thing is people. I have the privilege right now of working with an amazing human being, Tanya, and she is all about collaboration. Her energy is amazing. I have the privilege we coach each other, and I have the privilege of being in her presence. And I know when that happens, we're going to have fun. We get a heck of a lot of work done. We hold each other to a really high level of accountability. We are incredibly productive when we're together, yet that is an infusion of fun that I cannot even explain what happens when we get to spend that time together. So look for people that you can collaborate with, that you can celebrate with, that you can engage with, that help you infuse fun into your routine. Fun can be intentionally designed and not left to chance. I think if we leave it to chance, we're at risk of it not happening. So I love being intentional about infusing fun into your routine. Number 5, give yourself permission to pause. It's okay. As a high achiever and working with high achievers, you got to show yourself some grace every once in a while. And don't confuse rest with laziness. So when I'm having a really intense day, super intense day, I may stop and just go for a 20-minute walk. All right. It's a pause. It's me reconnecting to nature. It's me looking up and paying attention to my surroundings. I live in probably one of the most beautiful parts of the country where I get to see mountains. I get to see desert flowers. I get to see the different seasons. I get to experience. That's my pause. I may also just take a pause and go to a different room in the house because I work from home. Just go to a different room in the house, put on some music, and maybe I give myself a 30-minute TikTok break. I become intentional about taking a pause. Rest fuels results. Sharpening the saw, as Stephen Covey says, rest does a beautiful thing and allows the space for you to enjoy again and get that energy bump, which is equal to when you're having fun. Taking a pause doesn't delay success. It actually will accelerate it. So as you're looking at things to infuse besides fun, infuse permission to pause. Number 6, redefine success. It's about balance and joy. A lot of us gauge our success on a number. Did we hit our goal for the day? Are we on track for our quarterly goal? Are we on track for our annual goal? Are we hitting the numbers that we need to hit? And so consumed with that we lose ourselves in that process. Balance and joy can be had through having fun. It can also be had by just taking a moment to reassess and redefine what success is. Joy and productivity can coexist together. One fuels the other. If success is costing you your joy or your fun factor, it's too expensive. So I'm not saying give up on your goals. I'm not saying turn, a blind eye to success. I think as an entrepreneur, leader, coach, human being, I'm driven by success. However, I know that there's a healthy balance between success and joy, and that both can coexist. Joy for me is, joy is an internal thing, right? Happiness is happenstance. It depends on something external, where joy comes from the inside. When I need a dose of joy, it's connected to fun. It's connected to doing something, sometimes not work related or work related, with a really good group of people that are in my organization that I can connect with at a really high level and infuse fun and experience joy. Joy is such a great thing that's on call at all times versus happiness being dependent upon something externally happening. So redefine your success. It's not just about hitting numbers. Success is, am I having fun on the journey? Success is the impact I'm making a difference? Success is, am I showing up as a pleasant human being to be around in the world? Or am I showing up as a curmudgeon and I'm not happy, I'm not having fun, and all I can focus on are numbers? Pay attention to what your view on success is. To me, I think the best definition of success is someone who's achieving their goal while they're experiencing joy and peace. And joy and peace come through fun. Infuse that into your business. So redefine success. Number 7 is just have some reset strategies in place, some practical reset strategies. So you might have to do a weekly joy audit. I know that seems silly, yet if we're going to be intentional about infusing joy into our work, we may have to do a little audit to make sure that we're doing what we said we're going to do. Review for the week. What gave you energy? What drained you? Pay attention. Do some micro moments of fun daily. Like I said, I go for a walk. Music, humor. There's a couple comedians that I love to listen to. Liam Morgan is one of them. So if I just need to laugh, I can go watch a video from I enjoy comedians, and I can go watch that and enjoy some humor, right? So I might have to infuse little micro moments. I might not have time for an event that can bring me hours of fun. Yet sometimes just 20 minutes is all it takes, or a 10-minute little break to laugh. Laughter is, to me, one of the better ways that you can reset and recalibrate and bring fun in. Build fun into your goals. Celebrate the wins and not just the milestones. So do something fun for yourself when you hit a goal. And, that might be a happy hour. It might be going and buying something for yourself. It might mean a spa experience. It could be going to a movie. Whatever it is, build fun into your goals. Word of caution, drivers, I'm one of you. I tend to achieve something, check it off, and I'm ready to go to the next goal. That's just how I'm wired. However, when I set my goals, my weekly goals, I do intentionally build in a reward. So if I hit the goal for the week, I get to go do this. And it's not just something normal, it's something special. It makes a difference. Small intentional resets can create long-term sustainability. I think that's really the whole point of this podcast in this episode, is to challenge you to create the space of productivity and fun. When you do that, that intention will reset and help you achieve long-term goals and sustainability. If you're feeling a little down, if you're feeling pushed to your limits, it is not just about doing more or completely stopping, right? It's about creating the space for more fun. Remember, burnout doesn't start with exhaustion. It starts when joy disappears. I think that's really important. If you take nothing away from today, but that one thing is that burnout isn't caused by your exhaustion. It's caused by the lack of or the inattention to joyful moments. That to me is critical. So take a moment, assess where you are, keep moving forward. My gosh, that's what we do as entrepreneurs, leaders, as drivers, as people who crave success, but make sure that you're building in time for fun and joy. Really, really important. I mean, at the end of the day, is any of this worth it if we're not happy? Is any of this worth it if we're not experiencing joy and peace? Is all of the success that you're receiving going to feel like it matters if you're not having fun, if it's like a drudgery, or you just feel really heavy about what's happening? I can tell you it's not. It's not worth it. I've been there. I've done that. This is an old habit that I have that I personally have to work on constantly. To me, when I show up to work, when I walk in the office or I turn on my laptop or I get ready to have a conversation with a client, I'm very serious. I'm very focused. And that comes from programming from my wonderful, beautiful parents who didn't take their success for granted. They viewed it as an area of being serious because they were from an era where they didn't have much. They grew up children of the Depression, and they didn't have a lot. So when they had the opportunity to have a lot, they were very serious about it. So take an assessment about how you show up. Are you too serious? And do you need to infuse different things to change that up and to create a sustainable business for yourself and those who are on your team or in your organization? All right. As always, team, if you have any questions about this or anything else, please reach out. Tony@rethinkcoaching.com is my email address, probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. You can find me on all of the social outlets, Tony M. Caliendo on Instagram, Tony Caliendo on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I am on TikTok more as a voyeur than a poster, but you can find me, or you can simply Google my name and you can get all of my information, including my cell phone. And I'm always happy to take a call. Don't get stuck on your island all alone and go enjoy the journey. Infuse fun and joy. I promise you'll end up being more productive if you take a moment to do that. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk to you next week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.